But we do appreciate that. I know that he's a good athlete. I know he's very strong-minded when it comes to wanting to play sports, and we're happy to have him. Okay. This year we're trying to have this meeting so we can kind of give an update of where we're at with our sports and what are we planning to do for the future. I think it's so important that we have that connection with the parents, because at the end of the day, we need the parental support. And I think primarily that is probably the emphasis that we're going to put on today. Without parents, our program will not function. We need help. So let me just go through the slides, and then I'll get to the part where we need to speak to the parents. But I'm going to give you a little history, a little background where we're at now, okay? So we belong to the Southern Section of CIF. And we are in one of the sections of California where it's the most prestigious. Most schools that represent the state are from the Southern California. So we're in a good place, and we definitely want to be we're in a league where we play with small schools, and a good majority of them are Christian schools. So that's very good for us, because we are a small school and we are Christian. But it does kind of, we can align ourselves with our values and the type of games and the type of people that we have for each event, okay? What have we done lately as recent? To validate our program, we are on Max Preps. I know most people are not familiar, but most high school athletes are familiar with Max Preps. I kid you not, most students that play varsity sports, they have the application on their phone. Every coach has it, officials have it, because it's the best form of communication. So what happens is we are now in the Express League, and we play varsity, and we have to be on Max Preps. In the event that we play a school or someone that wants to come and see our school, they have all our information here. If another team wants to verify our school, whether every athlete is eligible, this is where they can check, besides CIF, okay? So Max Preps kind of just validates our program, and it's one of the best programs out there. Also, what we're doing for students this year, we're joining the Orange County Athletics Directors Association, and it is a good program that's being offered to honor student athletes of character. So the way this works is coaches and athletic directors get together and they nominate students. As an athletic director, I can nominate a male student and a female student from our school, and they hold this banquet in February every year, and they get honored, and they'll have guest speakers. They have NBA players, baseball players, and they get to take pictures, or sometimes they even have the mayor of Santa Ana. Okay, so which is neat, and it's just another form of us giving back to the students, for all their hard work. The athletic department, we're not only looking for athletes, but we're also inviting their students to become team managers. We want them to participate. If they feel like sports is not for them, we still want them to be part of our program. They're so important to us because we need team managers, managers that can help with the team, with the uniforms, taking stats, help at the table when we need shot clocks. If it's basketball or if it's any other sport, we can use help from students that they can volunteer and they can get credit for those volunteer hours. This coming year, 2023, 2024, is the varsity teams, the varsity sports that we are going to field for sure. As of right now, is boys and girls varsity volleyball, which is we have a lot of interested people for that particular sport. Basketball, definitely boys varsity. We are working to getting girls basketball involved as well, but that's a work in progress. Boys and girls varsity badminton, which is, I think we can find athletes here who necessarily don't play badminton, but I think that they can find a love for that because in my experience, most students that never played badminton fall in love with the sport once they start learning it. So that's something that I'm excited about, and I'm sure students are gonna enjoy it as well. For 2024-2025, we're projecting to have boys and girls basketball, as I said, continue with boys and girls volleyball, boys and girls badminton, but we also want to add co-ed flag football, which the smaller schools are now fielding flag football if it's all boys or it's all girls, but for smaller schools they're doing co-ed as well. There's 5 schools right now that are having co-ed, and they're trying to get Eastside to be the 6th school. At the last meeting, they offered me, and I said, hey, I'm not sure if we can fill it at this team, but we're definitely going to move in that direction for the following year. We are taking baby steps to get there, and we just want to make sure we stay consistent. Okay. Sports clubs want to start offering dance and cheer. I'm looking at dance and cheer, probably bringing it into the junior high. So once they look forward to that, then we can continue it as they move up in high school. Because I think our high school students are now, they're pretty much focused on what's here now. And that's something that I do definitely want to introduce, even as a PE class for dance. I've seen how successful those programs are in PE classes. Students really get interested, especially if it's music that they like. So, okay. CIF eligibility, Charlie's aware of this. Students are aware of this. We kind of refreshed it today, but they know that CIF requirement is 2.0 GPA. We definitely want to adhere to that. If we can't have any students that are ineligible, we definitely are going to be monitoring that. But they are aware of the 2.0. However, here at the school, we strive for a little higher. We're not going to encourage a 2.0. We're encouraging a lot higher than that. But if we see students reaching that level of 2.0, we're definitely going to be on them to get additional help. And we're going to have some resources like tutoring in place that can help students kind of bring their grade back up if in the event that they drop that low. Okay. Every grading period, we're going to have some type of we have access to GradeLink where we can see the grades, but I'm sure as an athletic director, I'll get a copy of students who grades are low. So we want to make sure we help them before it's too late, because once the grading period takes place, it's a cutoff. And if they drop below that GPA, there's a probational period of 90 days, which is 90 days we have to report to CIF. Students are not allowed to play any varsity sports. They may practice, but in my opinion, I don't even think they should practice with that GPA. So, okay, so we'll definitely keep an eye out on that and monitor that as well. Like I said, our eligibility rules, we have no F grade rule. Anybody that has an F grade, in my opinion, shouldn't be playing. There is no excuse for that. I think that if a student scores an F at any time, we definitely have to intervene and help them get back on track. We're here for academics. Obviously, varsity sports is a privilege, but we definitely want to stay focused on the academics. No incomplete grades, they have to have a grade. They have to score some type of grade. There's no incomplete grades, and that's CIF as well as Eastside Christian. And then we definitely want to make sure that their attendance is good. I have Charlie homeroom, and Charlie does tend to walk in a little late every day, but he does have his excuse notes. But I know that next year we want to work on that. I've talked to him and I said, like, I get it. Maybe it's not your fault, but we definitely can't have that next year. So we will make sure we kind of keep an eye on that. Practice schedules for girls volleyball this summer, I'm going to leave that out because I guess here. We haven't determined the time yet, but it is going to be Tuesday through Thursday, 3 days a week for the summer, because girls varsity volleyball starts in August. And our first game is our first day of school. Wow, what a way to start. That's going to be fun. But yeah, that's CIF puts out a schedule. We have to confirm those dates. I can move that date maybe if the other school, but I think I just want to leave it as it is. And but yeah, that schedule is already complete. So we're going to work on that, and we're going to try to adhere to that schedule. But our practices are important. We have to start early in the summer. We can't wait for the first games to start practicing. Girls, any other sports, we are going to include them in our curriculum for PE. So not only do they get varsity, they get to practice for varsity, but they also get to get a PE grade for that, which is important. So in essence, they will be getting a grade. Okay. Basketball practices, we will determine that at a later time. I know Charlie will be involved in that. Basketball does not officially start until I believe the 12th of November. So we have time to put out that schedule, which I know Sunman is pretty good at putting them out on our school calendar, so parents can have advance notice of that. The badminton will be running right after basketball season, so we'll definitely also put out that schedule at a later time. We need to fundraise, and that's one thing people kind of worry about, but we don't want to ask parents pay. We want to also convey to parents what we are doing from our end. We're not depending on parents to reach our goals. We can definitely use the help, and we need the help, and we want the help. But there's ways that parents can help as well. But this is what we're doing from our end. We do have something that's called varsity dues. Any school you go to, you have varsity dues. If you play varsity, you have to pay dues. It doesn't matter which school you go to, and that's a requirement because we have to also invest into our program, and students need to invest something into their same program that they're participating. We're also working on something where we're reaching out to our former alumni. We're trying to create an alumni association so we can start working with former athletes, that have no idea that our sports program is back up. And we want to get them involved because from alumni, we get donations. From alumni, we get coaches. Oh, I played 4 years in high school and I went to college. I can volunteer my time. I can help coach. And that's what we want, and that's what we're looking for right now. Also create some type of alumni versus current student athlete games, just to make it a family event. I think that would be interesting, and that's one of our goals for this coming year. We're gonna run tournaments, volleyball tournaments. We're looking into running an adult basketball league if the gym time is feasible. We're gonna try to work with the church on that. And we definitely wanna host other school tournaments here. So there's ways of making money from our end. And lastly, parent support right there. We want the parents to be involved. I've been very, very fortunate to have parents offer their time, volunteer. If it's cooking in the kitchen, or if it's helping with snacks, or donating drinks, donating food, things that we can sell to the spectators. That is such an amazing help, because that's money that we can build on and keep making profit off that as we go. Our estimated for fundraising, I kind of broke it down for the parents to see. This is where I'm working at with our principal, with our vice principal. We're working together. Definitely try to come up with ways that we can make money. And I think that this here is just a rough draft of what we want to do. Okay? And we want parents to see that we're not just depending on the parents. We are working, and we're going to work nonstop until we get this money. Okay, because we want to make sure we offer a program to our students that they can be proud of, and they can see that, hey, the school has their backing, and having this money definitely will help offset a lot of our costs. Okay, varsity dues, I explained that. It's $300 per sport. I paid just probably a little less than this when I was in high school, which was a while back, but this is pretty generous. Because again, I'm part of the league, and I talk to all the other schools, all the other ADs, and they charge a lot higher than this. But we're gonna work with this. Like I said, we want to start with baby steps, and then we're gonna build on this. But hopefully parents understand that this is a necessity.
For 1 year?
It's for the sport. Per sport, for example, basketball will be from November to March, depending on playoffs. But if he wants to play volleyball following basketball, that's another $300 because it's a different sport. Because we still have to pay to field those teams, field those sports. Okay. Our immediate goals, we definitely want to start off with the budget, which is something that we're working with. We want to field the 3 teams that we mentioned, which is volleyball, basketball, and badminton for both genders. And we definitely going to work on creating an alumni association. My role for next year. I'm going to come in as a athletic director. We work as the liaison with the league and with CIF. Obviously, there's a lot of moving parts to that, and the principal also has to take on the role where she oversees making sure that we're doing our job. And it's a very challenging role because it's very time consuming. Our days don't start at 7:30 here, because we have games and then we have cleanup. So our days are really long as athletic directors. And it has to be, in my opinion, somebody who's willing to put that hard effort in, and I feel like I'm equal to that task for this year. I'm excited about what we can do. I know that we have a lot of help from outside people that are willing to help us out for this coming year. Also, I will continue being a Spanish teacher unless that changes. It all depends how we're going to work that. And then, safety advisory committee. These are just titles that I have for now that I'm going to be working with, just to give the parents the idea that we do wear a lot of hats. So communicating with us is important. If you have questions and if it falls within one of these realms, then obviously I would take those calls. But we have a principal who's always willing to take calls as well. Okay. The role of the athlete. I shared this with your child today with our student athletes. Our goal is we want to be competitive. And I'm not saying we have to win. What I'm saying is we want to put out a product out there that we're proud of. We want to show, we want our students to feel proud that we are putting every effort into them succeeding. If we fall short of our goals, that's okay, but we're going to learn from that. We want to move on. We want to get better in every phase that we do in every sport. And I know that the students have that potential. Today in volleyball practice, I saw boys doing plays, girls doing plays that I was thinking to myself, like, wow, finally. It's taken these many months. And yeah, I had a big smile on my face after that. Our students, we want them to succeed from failure. We want them to learn from failure. We all fail at one point or another. We all lose. But it's important that they understand is how you bounce back from that. And I think that's going to be something that's important that our coaches are going to instill in our students. They're going to play with confidence, discipline, and integrity. We are a Christian school, and I think we should be promoting that. So that's really important to the program. Parent support. I didn't pick them up for the printer, but we only need one now for now. So I have a sign-up sheet for parents, which we will be handing out to parents, and I think we may have to mail them out or send them with the students. Yeah. It's a requirement. I'm going to make it a requirement for our student athletes. I've had parents come up to me and say, well, I didn't know. Or, oh, you should have told me because I could have done that. Sometimes transportation can be a problem. And we have parents that, no, I have an SUV. I can drive this day. We don't want to burden them and use them on every, we would like to, but no. This questionnaire is very simple. It lets you check off where you would be interested in helping. But at the same time, it also mentions you what we're planning to do. If it's concessions, if it's food, senior night, award night. Senior night was such a success this year. We honored our students this year, our senior athletes. And it was so nice to see the smile on the face when we were taking pictures. And it's one of the highlights of the year, in my opinion, because we got to share the same excitement they were feeling that day. So the parental form, I made a lot of copies there at the copy machine, but if you can fill that out, or if you can take it home and fill it out and send it back with Charlie, we would appreciate that. It also mentions if you have any ideas or there's anything that we missed out where you can offer to help us out, definitely put it on there. Like I said, it doesn't have to be monetary. It could be your time. We definitely want the parents to be there. The students I think appreciate when the parents are there supporting them. And I can tell you that parents will also see that our principal never misses a game, or our vice principal, they're always there, big supporters of our program. So again, fill out that questionnaire. We'd be more than happy to answer any questions if you may have any, but we definitely need parent support. It's so important because we're on the same team. We're working with your child. So, and I look forward to seeing you help us because we will work as a team. Okay? I don't know if you have any questions, or if Sharon want to say anything, or some of you guys have anything you guys want to kind of reiterate or say that I haven't said, or.
Yeah, maybe we'll do it for the recording too.
Yeah.
So for those of you joining us from home, we thank you for your interest in the sports program. We're really excited. This year was at the start of something that we really want to build on, and sports creates a culture at our school. Also, it allows for our students to grow in ways that are beyond the classroom. In the classroom, students can grow intellectually, they can grow in critical thinking and problem solving, But when students are playing sports, they're being disciplined in ways that are different, like they're learning how to be teammates, they're learning how to, endure physical hardships, they're learning how to communicate with each other, they're learning how to deal with people that are beyond their school community. And so these are really important life lessons, and we believe that students can learn it through sports, and also it's what brings our school together. Like when we play sports and when students are out there, even like during pep rallies, our students get so into the games that they're playing, and we just want our students to thrive in this way, and also just to get some energy out. Most of our students are just sitting in sedentary settings like pretty much the entire day, and so we are really wanting to invest a lot into, and we have been. So actually this year, Jimmy, our Mr. C, Castaneda, he actually functioned as an athletic director without formally having that role. And so, he did have that role formally, but in addition to teaching 4, 5, 6 classes. And so 5 classes, yeah. So what we want to do next year, and because it is a big role, we want to make it a more official role so that he can fully devote his time to expanding this program. And like Mr. Castaneda mentioned, we want to expand this program beyond basketball, boys basketball. We want there to be girls basketball. We want there to be an official varsity volleyball team for boys and girls, badminton. But we also are thinking of bringing in golf, bringing in flag football, bringing in, there's so much potential. Even swimming. And so this is only possible if we have, first of all, the support of our families, but also we need more finances. So actually our dues are very, like he's underselling it, our dues are actually very, very low. So this past year, we only charged $250 for pretty much about 4 or 5 months of basketball. And that was much, much less than what actually it costs. And so if you think about the cost of like even paying for referees per game, transporting our students to and from games, and our students, like this year, we didn't even get to do things like, we did it a couple of times, but like buying water for them, Gatorade, having snacks available for them. Jerseys are like $100 per student. Like these are really, really enormous costs, not to mention the role of the coaches. We have to pay our coaches and also our athletics director. So we actually put in much, much more in terms of finances than what we actually collected for varsity dues. And so we have to have your help, parents, in kind of making up those ends, making those ends meet. So that's why the fundraisers would be really helpful for parents to help with the fundraisers, but also that's another reason why we're increasing the varsity dues by $50 this year. So we really want to keep this program alive, and we want it to continue to grow, and we need buy-in from parents, and we need buy-in from the students too. So one other thing that we want to talk about is the commitment of the students. So next year, I think Mr. C briefly mentioned it. Yeah, it's okay. So one of the things that we're doing for next year's practices is we're actually going to make being a part of a sports team a part of their block schedule, so that it's in their actual school schedules that they have to practice. But in addition, because our blocks only meet twice a week, and so in addition to them coming to practices for class, they'll need to come to additional practices, and they need to commit to coming to practices. So Charlie has been very good with practices. So I'm speaking mostly to maybe students who are not here, but students cannot miss practices for things like, dental appointments or having to, we need our students to not just come and go for practices. We need our students to commit to coming to practices and being there and having it be a priority on their list. So it cannot be the 4th, 5th, 6th thing. It can't be, I'm gonna come to practice if I feel like it, or I'm gonna come to practice if I'm not sleepy. It has to be something that they commit to, that they are prioritizing, because it's a privilege. Coming and playing sports is a privilege, and so we need our students to know that, and we need our parents to know that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right, and again, a student misses a practice or a game, it affects the other players.
Yes.
Because the purpose of practices and spending time together is so they can gel together and play together and have it, have chemistry together. And if that one student is missing, or a student's missing practice, we're not gonna have a cohesive team.
Yeah.
and we definitely need that.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the areas where we lacked last year, because we never knew who was going to be the starting players. We never knew. We knew who they are, but we just didn't know whether they were going to commit to that game.
Yeah.
So we're going to avoid that. We don't have the luxury to look at our bench and say next man up. We may, I don't know, but definitely it's so important because it affects us being such a small school.
Yes.
We can't afford to lose anyone, and we can't afford to have anyone missing.
Yes. Also, some of our students this year missed practices or missed games because of their grades. So that's why we are reiterating we have higher standards, academic standards, and so this year we had a 3.0 requirement for practices, and we realized that maybe we were a little ambitious, and so next year we're gonna have it be a 2.0 GPA requirement. However, we are not gonna allow any students who have Fs to play. So even if it's at the beginning of the school year, so some students say like, oh, I'm gonna make it up so that my final grade is ultimately not an F, but if you're starting the quarter with an F, if at that point in the school year you have an F, you cannot go to practice and you cannot go to games. And so for our students, they need to make sure that they're prioritizing what they are supposed to be, like what their first priority is as a student, and then second is an athlete. And so they have to make sure that they're taking care of their student responsibilities first in order to have the privilege of fulfilling their athletic privileges. So it's really important that parents are also on the same page, and that students are committing to this wholeheartedly and fully as we start the school year, or as we start the season. And even for basketball, we are going to have practices over the summer, and it won't be as rigorous as volleyball, because volleyball, they have a season that's starting right after, as soon as the school year starts. But even with basketball, we want our students to start gelling earlier, and so summer is a vital time, so we will be announcing practice times even for the summer. And so for our students, even for our basketball students, it's really important that they are committing to not only playing during the school year, but also practicing in the summer as well. And even if they're not practicing with us, even practicing at home, like, I don't know, take a basketball to the gym and practice, So it's really important that students are taking this, to heart, and that they're not just relying, on 1 hour a day to get better. They need to be really investing their time.
Yeah, we're competing in even though we're in a small school, in a league that fields small schools, most of their athletes are nonstop all year round. They practice and they practice. Yeah. We're not saying that that's what we have to do, because most of the athletes play outside of school. Once they're finished with their varsity season, then they go do club sports, which is important, because if they want to get better, that's one way to go. But the way I also see it is you have all these community colleges, smaller universities that are willing to pay a full ride or pay all their tuition if they play sports at their school. And some parents may like that, and some parents may want that. We may have students that academically go to UC Berkeley, but they also know how to play volleyball or play some type of sport. That's also going to enhance their chances, and they're going to may have a chance to get more money from the university. So, but yeah, we definitely want to go that direction. But again, it all starts with commitment. Yeah. It starts at home.
Yeah. So I think those are the two big things. Like, we need commitment from parents, and we also need commitment from students in order for this program to thrive and for it to grow to a bigger scale than it is now. And last year, we know there were a lot of hiccups, and there are things that we have learned through those mistakes and through those hardships, and so we're going to build on it. And our students are excited, so we're excited for that too. Yeah. Did you have any questions, Mrs. Scoop?
No.
Okay. Yes, I'm sure you will. I mean, and we're here for questions too. So this is not going to be the only time we have this meeting. So we'll have an athletics meeting as we start the new school year, because we do have students who are also coming to our school, joining our school for the incoming school year, and they probably want to play sports too. So we're going to have another meeting with hopefully all of the parents and all of the students, and we'll announce it early on so they know when these meetings are. And then we're also going to have, like, throughout the school year, much more frequent communication from our athletic director as well as from our administration. And then also we're going to highlight more of our games and things like that by putting it on our website calendar so that you know in advance when these things are happening. So we're working to improve communications so that we can all be on the same page. Yeah. And you can always contact us. And Mr. Castaneda has his own line at school, and he also has an email address. And so if you have questions, you could always directly email him as well. Okay.
Alrighty.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I'm excited.
Okay.
We have a lot of good ideas, and I think they're going to come to fruition.
Yes.
Like I said, we have the right people supporting us here, and we also have the right people supporting us outside of our school.
Yes.
So I'm going to make sure we keep those contacts alive and working, and maintain a good relationship with the other schools, because at the end of the day, we all depend on each other. And I'm looking forward to working with them, as I'm looking forward to working with the students here. So it's going to be an interesting year. We're going to like it. It's going to be exciting.
It's going to be great.
Yes. All righty. Well, thank you.
Yay, thank you.